Hey guys, Brian Coaching, Media and Marketing Manager here at Whistle Realty. Also, owner and operator at Red Tide Photography. Wanted to show you how I edit my real estate photos behind the scenes. So I'm just going to check to make sure that we are live right now. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to go through it. So I use a mix of flash and ambient to create my real estate photos. And I'm going to kind of go through it step by step. So I use a lot of layer masks. Here I'm using a layer mask to make sure I hide the spot where I'm show my flash. I'm going to bring this to lighten, and I'm going to go through this really quick because I have to get this out today. But I wanted to show you kind of how I do it, and I'll kind of explain as I go through things. So I use a brush, opacity 100%, flow 8%, smoothing 10% to do my light painting. And I'm going to crop this in just a tad. And let's see here. Cool, so that's good there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do Control-Shift-E, which is going to flatten it, copy it, and paste it. Why am I wanted to mute that? And what I did is I basically just flattened the image and then brought it back. I want to clean up the camera here. Let's see here. I'm going to go to use J, which is the healing brush, and just kind of paint this in. It's kind of ugly there, actually, to be honest. There we go, though. That's all right. All right. So Control-S saves it back as a TIFF. All right. So walk through real quick how I do the bathroom. This is a pretty basic bathroom here. I do one flash shot, one ambient shot. My flash shot, Control-Shift-A gets me into camera raw. Bring the highlights down, bring the shadows up a little bit. Oops. Just kind of flatten this image out. I like to be able to shoot to where I see the window and the lights. Then I bring this in. I'm going to turn this to luminosity. Luminosity is going to keep the shadows and the brightness, but drop the color cast. Alt and mask to give me a flat mask. And then I'm going to brush this, oops, not there, on this mask, kind of brush in my my ambient. Bring it in here a little bit. And I like to just kind of brush it in just to give it that more realistic look. There we go. Easy as that. Now, this is my first time I've done Facebook Live, so if you're watching, go ahead and leave a comment. See if that works. I'm curious how the comments work and how this all works. All right, so again, pretty basic bedroom. Just one shot above my camera. You can see I have an ugly shadow here, and it's kind of flat here. But I'm going to use my ambient, bring my shadows up, bring my highlights a bit down, just kind of flatten this image out a little bit. I'm looking for, when I do my ambient, I want to see my ceiling to make sure I have a good ceiling, and kind of look at, I like the walls here and the furniture. So flatten that out. Now that I have my, this is my flash shot so I can see through the window, I'm going to paint in my ceiling with the ambient. Bring it on here, I like paint it on the walls a little bit. And that does it for this. This I was shooting the carpets were wet, so I couldn't walk on them, so I had to be very careful about where I could go with my flash. Usually I'd go a little bit more a little bit more in depth with some of my flash shots, not necessarily in here, but in some other shots. But I was really limited based on where I could walk. All right, again, same thing. Flash directly above the camera. You can see based on the shadow. I wanted to expose for the window. This one I actually shot a little too bright, so Control-Shift-A brings me into Camera Raw. I bring my exposure down, turn my shadows up, and my highlights down. It's better. Again, Control-Shift-A, bring my highlights down and my shadows up. Too much. Alt-Mask, that's going to give me a mask, and then paint this on in. You can tell, like I said, I use a fairly low or flow brush, and so I use a big brush to get lots of brush strokes in there. So save it as that. Moving them right along. Let me see. I want to bring this one up a little bit. And again, nice big brush, painted my ambient. These are all pretty easy rooms. Looks like this is a little too bright. Bring my highlights down. Again, just these are 2 exposure shots, so really pretty easy. Here I'm using 3 flash shots, or sorry, 3 flashes. I start with the shot where I'm not in it. I'm actually not in either of these shots. I did this flash shot to get some of the shadow out of here. And I'll paint it in with ambient too. Oh, and I like the color of the wood with this. I bounced it off this wall up here, which gave it a little bit more yellow to it, which I kind of actually like. And now I'm going to use my ambient, bring my highlights down, shadows up. Actually, I'm going to bring contrast up a bit. Alt-Mask, and paint it on in. I don't want it there. I'm using X to go back and forth between white and a white brush and a black brush. And if you're curious to see what this is, what this looks like, how much I painted in, everything that's red is not painted in. So that's kind of how I choose what I paint in. All right, got quite a few more of these. So I start with my flash shot where I'm not in it. I use this to get, I flashed over here so I can get this area nice and clean. I'm going to bring the highlights down. Hold on one second, Thomas is about to walk in. And I'm going to paint this in, get my nice shadows going. And I'm going to use this to lighten. See how that looks? Okay, I'm good with that. Except it's a little bit bright here. And now I use this just to paint in a little bit of the, oops, the realistic look. A little bit of, I don't like that. A little bit of glare here, or reflection. I like painting in the door. Cool. Control S, that saves it, and that does it for that. I'm going to do a couple, finish the kitchen up, and then I'm going to end this live stream. Just kind of, this was my test today, see how it worked. But if you want to see more stuff, I do a lot more of this on my Facebook profile, which I will put a link up to later. I don't like much of that. Or you can just find me on Facebook. Just search my name, which is same name as that's on here, and you'll be able to find it there. Okay. Also on my page, there's a real estate photography tutorial section that I just uploaded that has a full Facebook Live. It's an hour and a half video showing the whole thing. So, all right, guys, that does it for me now. I am out. Peace out. I will see you guys later. Good test.